Manchester United is in advanced stages of letting go of certain players and bringing in a few more. Welcome to the United of Sport. My name is Webb, and in this video, I'm going to paint for you a picture of what exactly is going on right now, what we're about to see in the coming days, but also try to project and see the likely starting 11 Man United is bound to have in the next season. My name is Webb. Like, guys, like, it's very, very important, very encouraging if you do like these videos. But let me first give you a quick update of what's happening. So, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, United has set their price for Aaron Wan-Bissaka of about 15 million pounds. This is for a player we signed for 50 million back in 2019 from Crystal Palace. And his contract ran out, but there was an option of triggering it by a further 1 year, which we did so that we don't lose him for free. And of course, there are people who are divided by that. There's divisions around Man United supporters about Aaron Wan-Bissaka and whether or not he should go. My thinking is United letting go of Wan-Bissaka is not because they think he's a very bad footballer. I think it's because probably they noticed the medical team realized that his injury problems won't end. But I think he would have had a place at Man United. Showed before that he can have levels that are decent for a Man United player, at least be a part of the rotation, because of the many options it gives. You can play as a right back and you also play as a left back. So I think for me, it's a matter of injury. So for the people who are crying for saying, why are we letting go of Wan-Bissaka? We shall regret this. He's the best in 1v1 situations and stuff. I think it's deeper than just his footballing abilities. It's probably mostly because of his fitness or lack of it from the medical team. But so West Ham United are leading the race, and most likely he will be joining them. At least from what we pick, he's most likely going to be staying in England and heading back to London, with West Ham set to make a bid for him. Now, some of these players we are about to lose will determine when Man United make certain moves or make certain signings, because it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to just keep on adding players when you've not cleared those you have, yet they are contracted. So that's why I think some deals are taking a little bit longer to go in. Partly, I would say that, or why United is not in a rush. I think the plan is to first try and clear out some in certain departments where I want to sign. So I think for me, that's very important. I think I expect also Victor Lindelof to move. I saw people saying that Lindelof should stay as a midfielder because of his passing range. By the way, he played midfield before as a younger footballer. I think he transformed into a defender I think later on in his career. But I think there is no turning back. Lindelof is 29, he's aging, clocking 30. He has subbed, but I also don't think his fitness will allow him to start Man United and manage the levels that Ineos are trying to set for Manchester United. Now, Mathis happening is that United are about to place that bid for Mathis Delete. I think everything has been agreed and done. So what is next after Leny Yoro's confirmation, which is going on because he passed his medical, and he's set to be unveiled to be confirmed later on in the week, probably before close of business today or tomorrow. He will be confirmed as a Man United player, because Ineos, the idea is to put Leny Yoro, to get over and done with Leny Yoro so that they move on to the next, and again give us that fire in us as the supporters, that they are doing a lot of work, of course, to try and get the club ready for the upcoming season. So for Leny Yoro, there's no doubt about him. Everything has been done and gone up to plan. So soon he will be confirmed. So when that is done, Mathis Delete, the bid will go in. Then of course Ugarte. Ugarte's deal could be imminent. Why? Because it seems PSG are advanced in their pursuit of Joao Neves. I think United going for Ugarte, or PSG receiving a bid, an official bid for Ugarte, is quite dependent on whether they will get uh, they will get the green light to proceed with Joao Neves. I think it's partly why Man United is not rushing with Ugarte. The talks have been suspended, if I would call it that. Suspended talks. You're done. You've spoken and agreed between the player and the club to club talks, but you suspend it and say, okay, at the right time, we are going to move. So I think it's a little bit like that when it comes to Manuel Ugarte, because PSG have got to first deal with the stubborn Benfica on Joao Neves. The beauty, though, is that Neves wants to join PSG, as it seems. So United of Ugarte might be dependent on whether PSG get Joao Neves. But also, With Benfica seeming, because from what I get, Benfica seems to be willing to bend on their on their clause, their buyout clause for Joao Neves. And according to the reports we get, PSG might sign Joao Neves for less than 70 million pounds or thereabout, and maybe some add-ons in that. If PSG are willing to take that, then why doesn't Man United now go back? Because there are only two clubs so far that have made bids for Joao Neves. Man United first, PSG came later with a 10 million pound increment, a 10 million euros increment on what Man United had bid before for him. So my thinking is if Joao Neves can go for anything less than his buyout clause, then why doesn't Man United also go back and be in that bidding war with Paris Saint-Germain? Because Neves clearly was the first priority for Ineos. So I think there is that bit. So there could be that bit of complication about Ugarte and Joao Neves. But the reality is soon we shall be getting, of course, the move done. So it's quite an interesting situation that we are in as Man United. I think we are. I can't say spoiled for choice. Should I say spoiled for choice? I would use the word, but it feels like Ineos really know what they want to do, and they have managed to convince quite a number of players to want Man United, which is a big victory because before, as Man United, the bargaining power we had was the allure for top players that we are Man United and we had something to sell to these players. Now, lately it had died off, and there's no way you would think a player when Real Madrid has guaranteed that they will come for them. So I think for me, it's a big victory that United has made already, even before the season starts. Now, speaking about if we talk about the probable lineup that Man United could have, and I'll keep talking about this, I think, in the coming days. I just want certain deals to be done because there are deals we know that are obviously going to happen. But I look at Man United's potential starting 11, and I'm thinking we actually could be spoiled for depth. We could have a lot of depth in this squad because you think about it from the back line on the left. I expect Man United to bring in a left back, but I won't even dwell on that. But you look at the central defense. If you have Leny Yoro, you got Lisandro Martinez, Mathis Delete, who is most likely coming in. Then one of our centre backs could stay. One of our, besides Lisandro Martinez, maybe, just maybe, we could stay a little bit longer, maybe for a further season with Harry Maguire. We might be stuck with him for a bit, which I don't think would be the worst of things because I think Maguire would add a bit to the depth we want. But also, uh, of course, his stake could be also dependent on whether or not we will get the third centre back, whether it's Jared Branthwaite or whoever that we want to sign, because the idea is to bring in three. But you look at that in that department. Then on the right, if Wan-Bissaka is leaving, we cannot just play with only one right back in Diogo Dallo. There should be a backup. Of course, talks of Frimpong have re-emerged that Man United could go for Jeremy Frimpong, but it's beginning to look clear that Ineos have a plan to sign another right back. I don't. They will let go of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and only have Diogo Dallo. And yet, of the all the players we are signing, I think the centre backs we are bringing in, none really would comfortably play as a right back. I don't see one who would be uh, part of the right back rotation. So I think the departure of Aaron Wan-Bissaka points to one thing, that there should be a right back in the plans for Ineos. You take note of that. So both left back and right back, United might go into the market this summer, by the way. Not even something to promote, unless there is some magical kid we are yet to know of who will come from the academy, but that's highly unlikely. We would have known about them by now. But right back, take note of that position. Frimpong is back in talks, and he was a bit cheap, at least 35 million euros or thereabout. But there is that. Then in the middle, you have Kobe. We bring in whoever we bring, either Neves if it somehow happens, but most likely Ugarte, or even two, because there is a possibility that United could bring in two number sixes. Then you have Bruno Fernandes, but you have Joshua Zirkzee who can also play as a 10. Then you have Amad Diallo who can also play as a 10 if he has to. You have Mason Mount, who of course is not going anywhere, who can also play as a 10. You have then in the wings, you have Garnacho. Then you have Marcus Rashford, who certainly is not moving a muscle. Not there doesn't seem to be a club that is interested in paying whichever amounts of money United want for him. Then you have Of course, Anthony, he's in the plans. It's Eric Ten Hag who is in charge. You don't think you will completely rule out or write off Anthony Dos Santos. Then we're talking about getting a loan. I expect a loan move to be done, at least. In fact, Ugarte could be a loan. Some of the players we are going to bring in might be loans. So I expect maybe Jeffrey Simmons on loan. There could be loan moves for certain players. Then Hoyland up top. You look at that depth in the squad, and honestly, you feel like Man United will be a club we watch with less pressure. And one of the other things that I like about, again, the depth I'm seeing is the fact that some of the players United are bringing in, appointing at, are not one position players. These are players who can play multiple positions. If it's the lead, he can play as a centre back and a midfielder. He has even played as an attacking midfielder before. Then, if Joshua Zirkzee can play off the flanks, he can play, through the middle. Ahmad Diallo, of course, is already there, but it's the same thing. Garnacho can play on the left and the right. So you feel like that mobility in itself gives us a depth that we lacked for so long, but it is going to make us extremely unpredictable and a difficult team to beat. So for me, and in the coming days, I'm going to proper go into my starting 11 that I think that we'll have. But of course, that's after certain few signings are made, because at least I expect two or at least three more signings to be made in the coming days. But be ready for some exciting stuff when it comes to Man United. A busy week is ahead. The latest bid is about to go in. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe. And let me catch you later, fam.